So most people are not lost. They're just surrounded by so much noise. Noise from social media, noise from expectations, noise from other people's opinions, noise from yourself even sometimes. And eventually you stop hearing your own self. And the reality is we live in a world that never shuts up. There's always something going on. Watching this video right now, there's a notification that's probably going to pop up on your phone. There's a text going on in the group chat, There's a news about some celebrity. There's probably a NFL game going on today. There's so much noise. And sometimes that noise soaks into our own reality. And we start feeling and forget that, that maybe, we're actually busy. We have like things going on for ourselves. We're making progress and we feel like, no, we're alive, And I heard talking to one of my friends, they're like, yo, your life is boring. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yo, the things we used to do, you don't do them anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I told him like, yo, but to be honest, I am just avoiding the noise. And I don't think he understood based off the response he gave. And then I realized most people mistake being busy for being connected, and there's a big difference. You're busy does not necessarily mean you have things going on for yourself. You could be busy by just the noise going on around you, hanging with the wrong people, being doing the wrong activities, investing yourself in your time and yourself in the wrong things. That's not busy. To me, you're wasting your time. You're just digging a hole that has no end, or you're digging a tunnel that has no exit. And just because of the noise, we get distracted, and at some point you stop asking yourself like questions about what you want. What do you want to do? What's more purposeful to you? What's more fulfilling to you? And you start questioning what makes sense to everyone else, which is really baseless if you ask me. Then your decisions start becoming more influenced by the approval from other people, your boss, your girlfriend, your daughter, your brother, your sister, your family, even someone that probably just throwing a slang around, a statement, and it triggers you. Your decisions not only become influenced by that, but your timelines as well. Comparison, which like these topics to me is something I'll probably talk about like different, on different topics. Timelines, like in my previous video, one of my videos, I believe everyone has a timeline. If you're a Christian, you're a believer, you understand what I mean. Everyone has a timeline. And for me, by the time I was getting out of high school, I understood that my timeline is different. And I'll say that because most of my age mates, most of my peers, where they are right now, that's where I used to expect myself to be, like maybe 8 years, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago even. But I got to realize like, I always got what I wanted, right? Or what I worked hard for. I only did not have the patience to understand that, our timelines is different. Do you get, like, it's different. And okay, you get married this year, you get a good paying job this year, you have a kid this year. Eventually I know mine is gonna come, and it gives me internal peace. I'm not bothered by it like I used to. I just applaud whoever is where they are, and I just wait for my own time. And like I also mentioned, how your decisions start affecting, like, you start comparing yourself to other people, which is something that I don't think necessarily comparison is a bad thing. It's when you start comparing yourself to someone negatively. For example, there's a couple of guys that I know that are doing well for themselves, not necessarily financially, but the person that they are, and I admire them, right? Like, I like this thing about this person. I want to grow in that aspect. I want to be better. They are showing me something that make me be a better person. And on the other hand, like back in the day when I was still like 18, 19, I used to compare myself to people that was clearly better than me. For example, in sports, I played football or soccer, what they call it over here. And there were guys that were way better than I was. I always used to compare myself to, like, but in reality, on the playing field, I was bare ass. I was trash, and that comparison never helped me to like develop myself as a player. But the moment I realized that, I'm different from this guy and this person, I have my own weaknesses, I have my own, just like them, it made me become a better player, and hence I was part of my school's team, which I could never believe I'd have made, when I was in Form 1. If someone told me like, you'll be in the school team and you wear the captain's armband, I'll probably like, hell nah, bro. There was just so many good players, but at some point I just focused on myself, on my strengths, my weaknesses, and knowing my strength put me where I was. And I think it applies to the same thing, in life. Do the same thing in life. If you keep comparing yourself to like people, even people you don't know, people in a negative aspect, you only be that negative version of them, or that version of them that maybe in reality they don't even like or they don't want to be. But I think it's always important to look at things from compete from a positive angle, but these things can only happen if in reality you give yourself time, and you give yourself time, you give yourself the space to embrace silence. But the truth is, silence actually does a lot of things for you as a person, as a human. And that's why many people avoid it. A lot of people avoid silence. I used to be one of them, because that's when you get to face the truth. You get to actually hear your own voices, hear your thoughts. You look at yourself in the mirror. And I was so lost in my early teens and early 20s that all I could do was distract myself and put myself in spaces or do things that would take me away from what I'm supposed to face. Silence. And think about it. Have you ever tried to stay with no phone, no music, no distractions, just you and your thoughts? Like, how does that make you feel? What do you feel in that moment? And if you've never tried it, you should try it. Like myself, the first time I tried it, at first it wasn't easy. I was like, yo, maybe I should just pick up my phone. Maybe I should just go back to Instagram and just do what I have to do. But there's something that was very effective in that moment. No distractions. The only thing that I kept experiencing was things going through my head. Now, I never cared if it was important things or things that were important. I just know things was going through my head. I was thinking about everything. So at some point, the more I kept taking myself out of the noise and being in the quiet, real questions, real scenarios, self-reflection, they all started hitting. And I was like, yo, this is why it's very important to stay in the quiet. And after doing that for a while, something became very evident for me. Clarity becomes more clear than it could be. Intuition comes back. I started noticing what actually mattered in my life. And if you're in the noise, you understand, and there's this example Sadhguru gave about coming into your house and walking in the dark to find your room versus coming into your house when there's light and going into your house. If you want to know, I'll probably tag the video somewhere. I'll link the video. And I always think about it every day. And pretty much the lesson from that example Sadhguru gave was, the more you know yourself, the more you know how to navigate life. But if you don't, circumstances, people, distractions will navigate your life for you. And in most cases, it never turns out well for you as an individual. But for me, I was never aware of my surrounding. I was never aware of myself. I just flew with the waves of the world. But the moment, I started, doing things for me, the moment I became self-conscious as well, I noticed what mattered in my life, I noticed what was important. Family, not too many friends, but actual friends in the meaning of the word friends. What gave me joy, not what I thought doing would make me look cool to other people, whereas I never really cared about them. Like most of my friends, if you ask them, they'll probably say yo, this guy, we know he's going to be a Bentley guy or whatever. But in reality, I love old vintage cars that will probably cost $5,000. I just pimp them up to look good. But for other people, nah, I need me a motherfucking Rolls Royce, man. But does that really make you happy? If it does, good for you. But for me, nah, I want me a vintage car. When I look at it every morning, I'm happy. And the same thing goes for so many people. But I was only able to discover that about myself and face that about myself because I gave myself the opportunity to face silence, to face my thoughts, to question myself, to face my reality, so I can navigate the world from my own lens. But anyway, if you feel lost, if you feel disconnected, if you feel overwhelmed, maybe you don't need more answers. Maybe you just need, a quiet space, a quiet time. Maybe you just need to face yourself. But I hope that this, video is helpful to one person out there, because it's a real problem in the real world right now. And I believe in the world now, the only important thing is pouring value into the world, because there's already enough evil, greed, selfishness roaming around. But anyway, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to let me know what you think, your thoughts about, your opinions about silence. If you experience it, how was your experience? Let people know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.